Nah, I think you can be really good and skilled as a photographer and still not make no money. I know a lot of great photographers who, haven't elevated or don't make no money in the business. I'm a great photographer. I've struggled in the business. It's just as important to learn the business side as it is to hone in your skills if you're going to do this full time. If you're doing it part time and if you're doing it for fun, business schmizness, you might not need to know it as much. But I think if you are trying to make it a business or trying to create a career out of this, you need to learn business tactics. You need to learn how to negotiate. You need to learn how to be a professional. You need to set up systems and processes for how you get work done. You need to set up deadlines for yourself. You have to run a business. And that part, for me at least, is not that fun. I find it a little bit fun because I like a challenge. I like figuring out things. And I know I can make it work. But to be honest, I don't love the business side of it. But I had to learn the business side of it if I decide I want to do this full time. I had to learn the business side of it if I'm going to be successful at this and I'm going to generate monthly money and income to feed myself, feed my dog, keep the lights on, pay for more equipment, pay for my monthly upkeep to keep my business going. You got to figure out the business side, and it's just as important because the harsh truth is you can be a not so great photographer but make plenty of money because you have good business tactics. So you gotta know what you're doing, but it's gonna take a lot of trial and error. You can't be afraid to fail. You just gotta fail forward. You know what I mean? You just gotta fail into the success, which sounds silly. Doesn't sound like it makes sense, especially if you haven't really tasted any success yet. But that's the way to do it. Keep failing, and something will work. Something will eventually work for you, but you have to keep doing it. It's all about getting those reps in and understanding the business. You're gonna undercharge at some point. You're going to charge way less than you're supposed to. You may get to a point where you're overcharging, where you don't really understand your market. Doing both is great and effective for learning exactly what pocket you fall in. Figuring out your services, figuring out how much to charge, figuring what services to offer, working your way through negotiations, negotiating yourself out of a deal. I've done all these things at some point. All of them have been very helpful for getting me to where I'm at now at understanding my business and how it works in the space I'm in. And it's also going to work differently depending upon what state, city, or country you're in. It's not going to be the same everywhere. Your prices that work over here may not work over there. So you have to pivot. You have to adjust. Yeah, you can be great at business and a terrible photographer. Well, not terrible. I guess you got to be at least kind of good. But you can be kind of good and make plenty of money in this business. And you can be very, very, very good at photography or videography and do very poorly on the business end. So you got to know both. You got to have a little bit of both at least to make it profitable and to make it into a business.